We're going to look at a method of solving a quadratic equation by using what's called the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is this: x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So we're going to use that formula to help us solve this quadratic equation. And we're going to do this in steps. The first step is identifying a, b, and c in our quadratic equation. And recall, this is in standard form, or notice that it's in standard form. So my a is my leading coefficient, and notice when there isn't one, it's understood to be 1, the number 1. And then my b is my next coefficient, which is 3. And then my c is my constant term with its sign, and it's negative 7. Step 2 is a matter of substituting. So I'm going to substitute all those values now into the quadratic equation. So my b is 3, so I have a negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4 times my a, which is 1, times my c, which is a negative 7. And since that's a negative, I'm going to use a parenthesis so that we don't get confused there. And then that's all divided by 2 times my a, which is 1. All right, so the second step is very, very important. You must get everything in substituted correctly. The third step, we simplify. So that means I start combining the terms and taking care of the squares and the square roots. So I've got x equals negative 3 plus or minus. And the reason why we have plus or minus is because a quadratic equation has 2 solutions, or 2 roots, or 2 zeros, however you want to call it. So that's why we have the plus or minus. We square the 3, so 3 squared is 9. And then we multiply negative 4 times 1 times negative 7. That gives me a positive 28. And then that's divided by 2 times 1, which is 2. Then we continue simplifying. So we're going to have x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 plus 28, which is going to be 37, divided by 2. So now we're going to look at a negative 3 plus or minus, and we want to see if we can take the square root of 37. Square root of 37, 37 is a prime number, so it's not a number we could take a square root of. So we can leave it as the square root of 37 divided by 2. And again, just to help you out here, to help you recognize there's 2 solutions, I'm going to split this out into 2 solutions. I'm going to have x equals negative 3 plus the square root of 37 divided by 2, and x equals negative 3 minus the square root of 37 divided by 2.